Thank you for joining today's session. We will be getting started shortly. We do have a lot of folks signed up for today's session, and we want to give everyone a moment to log on and get connected so that we can dive into today's session. I do want to thank you all for joining us today. I am Jasmine Garrett here with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Today's session is an informational overview of NJEDA's clean energy financing grants and programs. A quick housekeeping note, we do suspect that many questions will be answered in today's presentation. However, you are able to write in questions at any point during the presentation using Zoom's Q&A feature. It is one of your Zoom command options and will allow us to make sure we're able to get back to you and let others see these questions and answers as well. Today's session is being recorded and will be posted on our NJEDA and YouTube pages. The slides and other resources will also be available in the next few days. Now, to get us started with the presentation, I will shift things over to NJEDA's Director of Clean Energy, Dan Fatton. Dan?
Thanks, Jasmine. And good afternoon, folks. Thanks for joining us. It's our inaugural Clean Energy Office Hours. We're going to talk through a few slides about the programs, loans, products, and other offerings that NJEDA offers to New Jersey-based businesses. And then we're going to leave a lot of the time open for questions and answers and getting to any conversation that's needed with folks that have joined us today. So thanks again for joining. I think we can move on to the first slide. Just as background about the overall program here at EDA, we are really committed to reaching Governor Murphy's clean energy vision. We are striving for 100% clean energy in the state, and we're trying to do so in a way that enables economic development. So we want to see people put to work building the clean energy that we need for the future. And we do that through a variety of products that we're going to talk through. But we're always also looking for new ideas. And so we're excited that you took the initiative to join us this afternoon. And if you have ideas of what else EDA or the state broadly could be doing to support the transition to clean energy, we welcome your input. Can move along to the next slide. So the very first program we're going to highlight is called NJZIP, and I believe we're going to turn it to Lena Ravetti, the program lead for this, just to give a quick overview of the program.
Thanks, Dan. So our New Jersey Zero Emission Incentive Program is a voucher-style program that supports the purchase of medium and heavy-duty zero-emission vehicles. So the intent is to reduce the upfront cost of purchasing these vehicles for New Jersey-based businesses, institutions, and organizations. And essentially, it's a two-part program where vendors are first applying to the program. They apply as being an entity that's eligible, as well as vehicles that would be eligible under the program. And then later, purchasers apply to the program with a quote from one of those approved vendors. And they submit an application. The EDA will determine an award amount along with some additional bonuses that are available. And then the purchaser and vendor work together to proceed with the purchase of the vehicle and submit documents to the EDA for reimbursement of those funds. So these are the classes. These are just some examples of the vehicles that are offered under the program. So the program supports anywhere from a Class 2B vehicle all the way up to a Class 8. And these are some highlights. Here you see a picture of ENAT Deliveries located in North Bergen that provides logistic supports, transportation needs for small businesses in the tri-state area. They have been a ZIP Phase 1 and ZIP 2 recipient. And as you see here, there's a picture of the vehicle that was delivered.
Just the last thing before we move on to ZIP, thank you, Lena, is that we're expecting the third round of ZIP to launch this fall. So for folks that are interested, there is a listserv on the ZIP webpage that I think we can put into the chat here. And so if you want to be notified first, sign up for that listserv. You can also sign up for our newsletter, which is available on our webpage. So let's transition into ZEV, which is a complementary program. And I think we're going to have Sean speak about this one.
Thanks, Dan. So for this phase of NJZIP, or phase 3, we worked hard to roll out a new program alongside of it called NJEDA financing. The idea is that this program complements the vouchers and grant funding available in NJZIP and serves as a financing option for the balance of vehicle costs. Also, the program can be used on its own, so you do not have to be a ZIP grant voucher recipient in order to get a ZEV financing loan, but the two can work in parallel to cover up to 100% of the vehicle costs. These are loans for businesses and industrial organizations in the state. They are loans that range from $50,000 to $500,000 for a 5-year term. And the borrower does not need to pay any portion of the loan back until their vehicle is delivered to them and on the road, and they're seeking that for their business or organization. These are low interest rate loans, really designed to be below market and offer additional savings to the applicant as they are adopting a zero emission vehicle. The same types of vehicles that are eligible under ZIP will be eligible under the NJEDA financing program. And we are also looking to launch purchaser applications for this program in the fall. And this will be running at the same timeline as NJZIP. So we encourage purchasers maybe who are looking for the ZIP voucher and also would like a loan to finance the balance of those costs. Or if you're unable to get a ZIP voucher for whatever reason, or perhaps you're a recipient of other grant funding that's available in the state, we hope this is a great option that can help you get the full cost of the project in and get your vehicles on the road in an affordable manner.
Thank you, Sean. Next up, we have the New Jersey Clean Energy Loan Program. And I believe we have Sebastian here this afternoon to talk us through some of the details.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Yeah, so the New Jersey Clean Energy Loans Program, or NJCELS, is an $80 million co-lending program to finance clean energy businesses and clean energy projects. The dollar amount for the loans are anywhere between $250,000 to $10 million. And the EDA's loan must be matched at a ratio of at least 1-to-1 from a private lender or financial institution. So then the total aggregate loan amount for these clean energy businesses and projects would be anywhere between $500,000 to $20 million. And the terms of these loans can be anywhere between 1 to 25 years. And the EDA will match whatever the terms are from the private lender. So I guess what makes this program attractive is that the EDA's loan will have a base interest rate reduction of 3% below whatever the financial institution's interest rate is. There are special terms for minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses and projects in overburdened communities that can further reduce that interest rate from 3 to 5% if you qualify for both. Both of those special terms come with 1% interest rate reduction each and are stackable. The target applicants for this program are New Jersey businesses with fewer than 750 employees that are all seeking to finance a clean energy project that has already been, the technology has already been demonstrated in the US or internationally. And some award highlights from the program. One company, Solar Landscape, is a leading commercial and community solar developer in the United States. They're headquartered in Asbury Park, New Jersey, with offices around the country: New York, California, Colorado, Illinois, and Massachusetts. Previously, they were awarded $10 million for a business expansion loan in June 2024. To expand their company's operations for solar installations around the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Sebastian. Next up, we have the NJ Cool program, and I think we're going to have Lloyd present this part.
Thanks, Dan. NJ Cool is a grant program that supports retrofit construction projects that reduce operating greenhouse gas emissions from existing commercial, industrial, or institutional buildings. It can provide $50,000. It can provide grant awards from $50,000 up to $1 million for an approved project. And the grant award will reimburse 50% of eligible hard construction costs that include labor, materials, and things of that nature. It's a first come, first served program, and the application process is currently open and available through the NJEDA website on our NJ Pool page. The grants are stackable with New Jersey BPU utility incentives as well as federal tax credits. It is available to commercial, industrial, institutional building owners or tenants. And eligibility had recently been expanded from initial pilot communities of Edison, Atlantic City, and Newark into all New Jersey overburden communities or adjacent census blocks. And to determine eligibility, you can use the New Jersey DEP EJ map tool, type in your address, and if you fall within one of the shaded highlighted areas that are teal or yellow, then you are eligible for NJ Cool funding. Here are some examples of locations that are eligible for funding as well as ineligible. In the first situation, we have One Gateway Center, Newark. Once you type in the address in the search function, the location pops up within a highlighted community, so that location is eligible for funding. Beneath that, you see 524 Park Ave in Hoboken. Once you type that information into the search function and hit enter, you will see that it falls outside of the highlighted regions, so that location is ineligible. It falls outside of the OBC eligible communities. In addition to the OBC communities, we also provide funding to adjacent communities. These are these yellow or gold highlighted regions within the map tool as well. And here are two examples of the adjacent communities. The first one, 36 West State Street in Trenton, as you can see, falls within the golden area, so that location is eligible for funding. And secondary underneath is 55 Arbor Street in Warren, New Jersey. And although that is very close and adjacent by looks, it is not within the yellow or gold shaded areas. So this does not count as an eligible location for NJ Pool funding. And to date, we've awarded a range of projects from up to $1 million. And you can see based on these award highlights, there's an array of scopes, primarily transitioning from greenhouse gas generating heating and cooling systems to non-combustion based systems like heat pumps, air source heat pumps. Additionally, you can also complete energy efficiency measures within the building as an ancillary scope. And that is also included here through scopes that include solar PV panels, upgrading lighting, replacing roofs, and improving thermal insulation on site. Another example of a completed project, this is recently fully completed in Edison, New Jersey. And we awarded $130,000 through NJ Cool funding and replaced the building's existing HVAC system. We upgraded the interior and exterior lighting and utilized the most energy efficiency systems that were available to the client at the time. New air source heat pumps. We give the customer staff comfortable conditions inside, as well as save them energy and money on their utility bills.
Thanks, Lloyd. And I think last but not least, we're going to talk about Garden State CPACE, Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. Do we have Max? Yes, we do.
Thanks,
You're up.
Dan. Thanks, Dan. Hey, everyone. Max Frank. I am the program admin for the Garden State CPACE program. What the CPACE program is, it's effectively a program that enables eligible commercial real estate owners to undertake certain kinds of improvements and then repay the investment on that improvement as a special assessment on your tax bill. So it's basically another way of taking on debt, and you repay that debt as a tax. Types of improvements here include energy efficiency, renewable energy generation, water conservation, and unique to New Jersey, although it is in a handful of other states, and that number is growing, also resiliency improvements including flood mitigation, wind mitigation, etc. Also, microgrids and energy storage. Pretty much, the list goes on and on. The CPACE program offers lower interest rates comparable to traditional financing and terms that are up to 30 years, but ultimately tied to the weighted average useful life of the improvements. So collectively, this has the potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It can boost local economic development for municipalities, certainly increase local energy generation, and also it has the potential to increase the value of properties, which, depending on how you look at it from a municipal perspective, can increase the tax base, or from a owner perspective, can just increase the value of the property. So the program, excuse me, the program is partially live. We hope to go full live in the next month or so. For now, we are accepting municipality opt-ins. That is live. All of the documents are on the website. We are also accepting qualified capital provider applications. That is a requirement if you want to lend for this program, or if you are a property owner, you have to work with a qualified capital provider. And similarly, we are accepting technical reviewer applications, which technical reviewer is the party that has to legally certify that the project is eligible from an engineering perspective. All of this is on the website, all the documents, the applications, and the program guidelines, as well as the supplemental guidelines, all posted to the website. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Garden State CPACE at njeda.gov.
Thank you, Max. A lot of good progress on CPACE and looking forward to the full launch within the next few weeks. New Jersey Green Bank. So grateful to have Ryan Kloss here from the Green Bank team to talk us through a little bit of what's up from our subsidiary of NJEDA, the New Jersey Green Bank. Ryan, you want to present?
Sure, thanks, Dan. As Dan mentioned, my name is Ryan Klaus. I work on the EDA's Green Bank initiative, which was set up in the springtime of last year as a subsidiary of the EDA, focused on using climate-related investments and financial assistance to mobilize capital in support of projects advancing the state's climate goals. As a subsidiary of the EDA, we have our own board of directors, of which the majority of the directors are EDA staff members. Over the next couple of slides, I'll talk about some of the specific categories that we could provide financing for, our sources of capitalization, and also share some details on our first Green Bank product that was launched last month. So as shown here on the right, we have the ability to deploy capital through a number of different financial vehicles, including by issuing loans, making equity investments, and providing credit enhancements such as loan loss reserves. As I mentioned on the last slide, we're primarily focused on supporting projects advancing the state's climate goals, which include the categories listed here on the left. So renewable energy generation and storage, building decarbonization, and zero emission vehicles and charging infrastructure. From a capitalization standpoint, our current sources of capital include $40 million of state appropriations and $100 million from RGGI. We also have $101 million of federal National Clean Investment Funds, funding from the National Clean Investment Fund program. Those funds are currently frozen and tied up in some uncertainty following the federal administration change. So the first product I'll talk about here on this next slide utilizes just state appropriation and RGGI funds. This product went live, as I mentioned, last month, and it's able to provide between $1 million and $20 million in debt financing, whether that be senior, subordinate, or mezzanine debt, to eligible projects or portfolio sub-projects up to 80% of project costs, and for loan terms of up to 10 years. When designing this product, we tried to make it as flexible as possible, given that one of the main goals of the Green Bank is to provide financing that meets the needs of the market and mobilizes capital. So in addition to providing all different types of debt financing through this product, our list of eligible borrowers that you can see all the way over on the right is pretty broad and inclusive of private, nonprofit, and public entities. Our loan pricing is the sum of a benchmark secured overnight financing rate plus a 50 basis point liquidity premium and a credit risk premium that is project specific and assessed during our underwriting process. So this next slide here just provides some more information on basic eligibility for projects for green bank debt financing. Just to note, the full list of eligibility requirements can be found on our website, which is greenbanknj.gov. But just really quickly here, all the projects that we're looking to support at a minimum must be located in New Jersey, reduce or avoid GHG and or other air pollutant emissions, utilize commercial technologies, have a minimum debt service coverage ratio of 1, and have an equity commitment from a sponsor, and have all construction work done in accordance with state prevailing wage requirements. And then here's just our contact information for the Green Bank team specifically. There's one other full-time member of the team, Carrie McNeely, who's out on vacation, but did want to include her contact information here, as well as our general email. And again, our website is different from the EDA Clean Energy product website. It's greenbanknj.gov. And that's where you can find more information on the Green Bank, that program, that initial product that I was just talking about, as well as our founding documents and also our expression of interest form, which is how you would get the process started if you are interested in receiving debt financing and think you have a project that fits the criteria that I talked about today.
Thank you, Ryan. So that's the overview of our existing product offerings from NJEDA, but that's not the limit of what we can do. Like I said at the beginning, we're really happy to talk to folks about new ideas and new approaches that we can take to augment what we're already offering. And I'm really grateful to have a strong, talented team, many of whom you just heard from, but also a few folks that did not speak directly represented here on this slide. So we are committed to helping you transition to clean energy and reducing your energy costs, improving your emissions profile. If you need assistance or you want to talk through any of these programs, we're here to assist. We can move on to the next slide. We do have a quarterly newsletter. I think many of the folks who have joined us today are probably already on that newsletter. But if you are not, there is a sign-up form here that you can use the QR code. You can also visit our website, which has links to each of the products that we just talked through, or you can just send us an email through our general inbox, and we try to be as responsive as possible. So generally, within 24 to 48 hours, you'll get a response back from us. I think with that, we've had a few questions come in through the chat, and I saw the team was diligently working on responding, but we can also take live questions if folks want to raise their hand or somehow participate in the Q&A. Anything else we need to say, Jasmine, before we transition to the Q&A?
No, you're free to go into the Q&A.
I did see one comment from the BPU, our sister agency. So just I want to underscore that the New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, the intent is to be able for most programs to stack these incentives. There are some exceptions. So for example, for NJ Cool, you cannot be in the large energy users program, and that's precluded. But generally, we are looking to support you as you transition your business. So you should be able to stack, whether it's Aspire or other NJEDA programs, with the programs that BPU offers. And if you want more information from the clean energy team at the BPU, you can always reach out to outreach@njcleanenergy.com, and they have program representatives who would be happy to chat with you about what they offer. Any other questions that we want to raise up for the group? I saw we answered some of the Q&A. Sean or Ahmed, anything you saw come in that you think we should flag for everyone in attendance?
Touch on the interest rate for NJZF because I know it's a little bit confusing. So there's two parts that make up the calculation for the interest rate. One is a base rate that is equivalent to half of the US Treasury 5-year rate. Obviously, that changes on a regular basis as the market changes. So the idea is we can be responsive and essentially below market as we work towards your approval. The other piece of it is a credit spread that will really be based on the strength of the borrower and their credit history and credit score and underwriting reviewed by our underwriting team. So those two numbers get added together. Currently, the US Treasury 5-year rate is about a 4%, give or take. So say you were approved today for an NJZEV loan, you'd be starting out at a base rate of 2%, and then we would add on to that anywhere from 0 to 3% additional interest rate points, depending on your strength as an applicant and your underwriting capability. So could be as low as 2%. The most, in theory, we would go as 5%, looking at today's interest rates. So that's a little bit confusing, but hopefully that's clear for applicants. And the goal really is to keep those as low as possible, to help provide more affordability for getting these EVs on the road.
I saw a question about how many zero emissions vehicles got funded in 2025. And I think maybe either Lena or Jessica, can we talk about the map that exists of where those investments were made?
Yes, so if you travel to the NJZIP website, there is a direct link to the RGGI Investments Climate Dashboard, and that has a summary of many of the transportation related incentives that have been awarded across several of our sister agencies, and it would include all of the ZIP recipients as well. As for the vehicles deployed overall, I'm not sure about the specific number for 2025, but I know to date we have delivered over 250 vehicles have been deployed, and it's been over $25 million redeemed.
And important to note that's for the medium and heavy duty sector. So that's our focus at the EDA. And so great work to the team for getting 250 vehicles on the road with more to come. I saw there were some questions from Tyler about CPACE. I don't know, Max, if you've had a chance to review that and we maybe want to raise that up for folks that are in attendance.
Yeah, it's a good question. So those that are familiar with CPACE in other states, of course, EDA is the program administrator for New Jersey, and unique to New Jersey, there is a prevailing wage requirement with CPACE. It doesn't matter what you want to use CPACE financing to fund on a project. If you are using any amount of CPACE financing, the entire project becomes subject to prevailing wage. There's no way to break it apart for installation versus equipment. It is applicable for the entire project. And then separately, you have another question in here. If the municipality is already approved, EDA will be opening a project application likely within the next month or so. And after EDA has approved the project, then really the onus is between the property owner, which is likely the applicant, the capital provider, and the municipality to work collaboratively. Of course, EDA is happy to engage as needed, but it's really a matter of the three other parties engaging to finalize the various assessment agreements.
Thank you, Max. I see there's a question about the NJ Cool program for construction start. So I don't know if Lloyd or Cassie, if you want to handle this one. Or Sean.
Sure, I can take this one. This is the what defines a construction start date. It said as soon as construction of any work commences or on the property, or if it is a phased project, such as HVAC is removed but not installed. What are the triggers? So it's as soon as any kind of construction is started, you have to have a approved application to get NJ Cool funding, and to do that, you have to go through labor compliance at the NJEDA, so you can't have had any prior construction already performed on site. We don't have any look back period on NJ Cool funding, so you really do have to make sure that your project hasn't started any kind of construction work.
Thank you, Cassie. Do on-site biogas or electric generation through biogas qualify for any grants or incentives? I don't know the answer to this one. I don't know if anyone on the team knows this. I think we do not have any current programs that are going to work for biogas or electric generation through biogas.
Dan, so CPACE, while albeit we don't really expect it to be used a lot, but you can use CPACE to fund biomass projects, but it's subject to further conversation.
So for those, I think it's Manish, if you're interested and you want to talk through that, I think feel free to reach out through the CPACE email to Max and we'll be happy to connect. Good question here from an anonymous attendee. What is the difference between Green Bank and NJ Cells, which we have talked actually a lot about internally? So maybe I can start by asking Ryan to kick us off here about the differences.
Yep, happy to get us started here. So one big difference in general here is that the NJ Cells program is a co-lending program, so it requires a co-lender. The Green Bank does not, while it can finance only up to 80% cost, it doesn't explicitly require a co-lender providing debt that the interest rate is based on. There's also an difference in how the interest rate is calculated between the Green Bank debt product and NJ Cells. Ours is we're kind of doing our own base rate SOFR plus liquidity plus risk premium. Cells is basing their interest rate, as Sebastian mentioned, on the co-lender's rate, and then there's specific incentives depending on if you're in an overburdened community, and minority women-owned business as well. So that's at the high level some of the main differences. There further nuances that I'm happy to get into, but Sebastian, not sure if there was anything you wanted to mention as well.
No, I think you covered it all, Ryan. I don't have anything to add at this time.
And I think if folks are not clear and they want to talk through whether you're a fit for Green Bank or Cells, that's what our team is here to talk to you about. So feel free to reach out through the expression of interest form for the Green Bank or through the Cells email address, and we'd be happy to set up a quick chat.
Yeah, Dan, actually on that point, because I think part of that question was, is there a way of assessing without fully applying? The Green Bank debt product specifically has an expression of interest part specifically for that purpose, so that you can just submit some general information about the project and we can talk about where we would think you would, what interest rate you would land at and whether or not your project is eligible based on our criteria before you go through the full lengthy application process.
I have another anonymous questioner asking, what does the future look like being able to power all electric buildings renewable? Capacity of renewable energy generation is the basic question. So I think, important to note that in order to participate in NJEDA, you don't have to be fully powered by renewables, but there is the option after you've done the fuel switching or the refrigeration reduction to add in renewable generation on your building. It's more of an adder. And so we're trying to both incentivize folks to reduce their emissions in buildings and save costs on their heating and cooling, but also to provide that power from renewables. So it's an option in NJCool, but it is not required. And in the longer term, I think that's what we're all here striving to do. Increase renewables in the state, encourage folks to use the financing tools that exist both through EDA and through BPU and other partners to make sure that there is more renewable energy generation to provide that capacity. But it's, this work is complicated and it's going to take us another decade to get there. What would be the primary point of contact for EV fast charging incentives? So I can take this one actually. The DEP, our other sister agency, has a great website that lists all of the funding and incentive programs for electric vehicles, and that has links for the charging incentives. So there's a variety of sources for charging incentives right now. You can go through your utility program, you can go through the DEP's program, or you can go through the BPU EV tourism grant. So there are several pathways to getting incentives for chargers. And I think the DEP website is a great resource to navigate. I see a question from Alexander Haver. You work with one of the energy efficiency utility programs, and you were wondering if there's a triage process or consulting process for determining which programs are the best fit for different types of projects or customers. Short answer is we don't have that, but maybe we should think about creating one. I think like I said a couple times, we're happy to work with you and answer questions and troubleshoot to determine whether you're going to be a fit for a variety of products. Many of our team here work on multiple programs, right? So, it's not like Sean is dedicated to one specific program and that's all he knows. I think we can talk to you about what the variety of options will be and help you navigate that. But there's no button or wizard that's going to tell you exactly what to apply for at this point. I see another anonymous question. Developing a software with AI-powered features to provide a one-stop shop for New Jersey residential energy efficiency retrofits. Any funding opportunity that would be a good fit for us or any department you can talk to. So I'm happy to have the team weigh in here. I think my initial reaction would be to talk to the folks that are working through the utility programs on energy efficiency measures. The BPU regulates those programs, but they're really mostly utility led. And so you would probably want to talk to the energy efficiency teams at your respective utilities to figure out if they would want to incorporate that AI feature. Anybody else want to weigh in on that one?
Get the Office of Innovation potentially as well, state level, could be a potential interested party.
Maybe this is a good time to also plug that CSIT has a current grant that's open. So the Commission on Science, Innovation, and Technology, if you are a startup who has a new technology idea that's clean energy related and is going to drive down emissions, there's a current funding opportunity open right now, and hopefully somebody on the team could plug that into the chat. There is a deadline in July, so it's a good time if you are a startup in the clean energy space to think about looking for CSIT support. What kind of incentives exist for establishing renewable energy sources for AI hubs? Well, I think several of our programs could help you finance the clean energy and use that for an AI hub. So you could, if you're in a municipality that has opted in, you could apply for CPACE once the program is up and running later this summer. You could apply for CELS funding for project financing as long as there's a clean energy component. I think it doesn't really matter if it's for your commercial building or for your, if the use is AI, that's an eligible use. Other ideas for renewable energy for AI? Those are the first two reactions that I would have. Another anonymous question, is cogen or combined heat power considered a renewable source? Some other states would classify these technologies as renewable. Anyone want to take this one?
It depends on the program. In general, some of our programs do not provide funding for new fossil fuel equipment. That's kind of a laws in NJ Cells and NJ Cool. I think depending on the application, Max can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you might be able to work CPACE into the mix if you can kind of show energy efficiency as a result of this. So I don't think we have a blanket definition as renewable. It just really depends on the program specifics and what the application is.
That is correct, Sean.
Does anyone on the team have experience comparing this option to NEIF funding? Any experience which businesses find more beneficial? And I'm not sure if that was in reference to Melissa Sullivan. Do you want to clarify your question if you're here?
NEIF funding, if I'm familiar with it, is sometimes a third-party option through some of the utility programs for low or zero interest financing, and sometimes that's paid back via on-bill financing. Our programs here are obviously outside of the utility programs, so we are not necessarily tied to those incentives or that kind of structure. We of course cannot work with you for an on-bill payment or anything like that. So it really depends. I would say in general that NEF funding, from what I've seen, the dollar amounts don't go nearly as high as some of the caps on our programs. Their interest rates may be a little bit more favorable depending on the project, but I think that's probably the short answer is it doesn't really go into the scale that we have available here. They also, of course, don't have availability, at least through the utility programs, for new zero emission vehicles. There's an option under NJZEV. So great option that's available depending on the type of project, but different use cases and different scale than some of our programs.
Benjamin Guy asked, do you have a partnership for data center powering and local BPU credits? So, I mean, the short answer is no. But the longer answer is that, again, I think if you were to think about the Green Bank or NJ Cells or CPACE as tools to help build your financing for creating the renewable energy to power your data center, these are financing tools to help you build your project. But happy to talk more about that if you have specific ideas of what we might do in that space. Anonymous asks, how does NJBPU Solar for All relate to New Jersey EDA, New Jersey Green Bank programs? Good question that we are actively working to figure out. EDA and the Green Bank are subawardees of the Solar for All grant, and we are in the process of working through that program, which I think will launch in 2026. So we are in the planning year, and so we are spending a lot of time including this morning, planning how to deploy those dollars. All right, that was rapid fire. We got through around 25 or so questions. Calling again, if you are on the line and you have a question, you can raise your hand if you don't want to type, or you can type in and we're happy to talk through anything that you have to ask. Calling again. Anybody on the clean energy team think we left something out that you would like to share?
I'll just note, just for informational purposes, we also have done awards for green workforce training programs. It's done through our another department at EDA that we work really closely with. So not necessarily for one specific business, but to support people in gaining necessary skills to in the green economy in a number of areas. So hope to do more of those in the future. But we've recently awarded about $4 million in workforce training grants.
I was also just going to add that there's a lot of other products that EDA has that aren't branded as clean energy specifically, but can be used for clean energy. So if you go to our website, there's several small business incentives and financing options available that can support you with your clean energy projects as well.
Great point, Ahmed. Thanks for raising that. I think a lot of times we get sort of hyper focused on what the clean energy products are, but the small business improvement grant is a great way to install energy efficiency measures in a small business. If you're a restaurant or another entity that's looking to update, whether it's your lighting or your HVAC, you can certainly talk to us about NJ Cool, but you may be able to also apply and access dollars from the small business programs.
And if you do go to EDA's website and go to our products and incentives, there is a wizard of sort where you can put in some basics about your company, and it will give you the list of all the different EDA programs that you might be eligible for. So I think to get into the nuances and the specifics of any one program, it's good to dive more into the specific project web pages and talk to the point people for those programs, but it'll give you a sort of a quick overview of which of the large variety of EDA programs that we offer might be a good fit for your business.
So we got a new question from Kevin Sherry about programs that are closed and when they reopen. So I'm going to rapid fire. NJ Cool is open. We encourage you to apply today, tomorrow, next week. NJ Cells is open. We encourage you to apply. We are eager to deploy those dollars. The Green Bank is accepting expressions of interest today. You can reach out anytime to talk to Ryan and Carrie and the Green Bank team. CPACE is mostly live. If you're a municipality that's opting in, you can apply, submit your ordinance today and be approved as a participating municipality. If you are the capital provider that's interested in participating in CPACE, that application is also live. And if you are interested in being a technical reviewer in CPACE, that is live. So in the coming weeks, we'll have the project application for CPACE go live, but that part is expected later this summer. And then Zip and Zev, we will roll out in the next few weeks the vendor application. So that is for the folks who are going to provide the vehicles. And then in the coming months, this fall, we will reopen the program for businesses to apply to get the vouchers. So several programs that are open today, and really the two that are coming in the fall are Zip and Zev, with CPACE project application coming in the very near term. One more call for questions.
It looks like someone might have a hand raised, Dan.
Oh,
Barry.
okay, I can't see that.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and unmute them.
Oh,
Barry, can
I'm
you hear me?
sorry. Yeah, sorry. Is there a limit to how much money is available from NJCell to deploy?
You want to take this one, Sebastian?
Sure. Yeah, so in total, we have $80 million. So far, we've deployed 10.5 million of that. But if you're asking more specifically about how much each individual borrower can have from cells, the answer would be $10 million is the total amount that you are allowed to request at one time. You can reapply for the program, but you have to have an outstanding loan balance of $10 million or less.
Okay,
So
got it.
once you begin paying back the first loan, you can always reapply for another loan through cells.
Got it. Thank you.
And just to clarify, that's $10 million from EDA. So because it's a
Right.
co-funding program, that would unlock another 10 million from a private lender.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. I see we've got a question from Jabril, representing a local county economic development. And how can you communicate and promote this to our local businesses, connect them? We would be really happy to work with you. We've been visiting some county economic development offices and just maybe haven't made it to Jabril. We have a one-pager that you can use to distribute information about all of our programs. We are happy to come in and make a presentation to you or to your businesses. So we're going to follow up with you offline. But appreciate the interest, and we put a bunch of links into the chat that anyone can please feel free to share and help us spread the good word. So appreciate your interest, and we will follow up with you directly. See, Anonymous says, can Greenbank be used with cell program if you're getting a private loan from some banks that are kind of hard to get the matching from cells? Do we want
Yeah,
to take that one?
I can take this one, Dan. The short answer would be no. Greenbank would not be eligible as a co-lender for NJ cells. Eligible co-lenders for this program, you can either be on the premier lender list that can be found on the NJEDA website, or you just need to be any sort of private financial institution that has originated, maintained, and service more than $5 million in clean energy loans over a 3-year period. So that being said, after a 3-year period, the Greenbank could potentially be an eligible co-lender for this program.
Thanks, Sebastian. Someone is testing the limits of my technical abilities here. If we're able to share the one pager in the chat. I don't know the answer to that, but Jasmine might. If we're not, I think one thing we can definitely commit to doing is we'll send a follow-up to all the registrants today. Thanking you for participation and linking to these programs, and we'll attach the one pager to that follow-up email.
Perfect. Yep. Dan, that's what I was going to suggest.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you.
I see. Can USDA Rural Energy Program be used with NJ Cell? A bank on NJ Cell list is pointing to that direction. And I'm not sure we have an answer to that, but I think we can look into it if we don't know and loop back to you. The only thing is that you came through as anonymous, so we would need some information about how to contact you. Yes,
Dan, why
this
don't you
meeting.
just put the email back into the chat for people, and so they can have that handy for follow-up.
Great. Yes, this meeting is being recorded, and yes, it will be posted on the NJEDA YouTube so that you can come back and reference what we said, or we can share it with others who weren't able to make it today. We have about 9 minutes left, I believe. We're happy to stay on and answer more questions if you have them. If you're shy, you can also reach out to us directly at the General Clean Energy inbox. We will stay on until 3 in case there are stragglers or shy participants who don't want to talk while there's a whole crew of 50 folks. But I think we're nearing the end of the questions. Last call. So I want to thank Jasmine and the public affairs team for helping to pull us together on this webinar and providing the backbone support. I want to thank Ahmed Chaudhry for the good work on the slide deck. Thank our leader, Jen Becker, for helping support all this good work that the team is doing. And thank each of the members of the Clean Energy team, including Ryan on the Green Bank team, for presenting about the programs, answering questions, and just being good partners in this work to deploy clean energy. So we are going to stay on, but please, if you, there's no need to stay till the end if you don't have additional questions. So thanks again to everyone. And I think we could probably stop recording.
We actually do have another question coming, or someone's hand is raised. Let's see.
Go ahead, Alexander.
Alexander.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. So I had a question earlier that you guys answered, but I'm just kind of curious. So in the future, so I work with, again, with one of the utility efficiency programs with one of the utilities, and I would love to present some of this information to customers when they're ready for financing. So we already do have a financing partner, which all the utility programs do. But just for helping customers for next steps, I was wondering if like potentially if next step would be just to refer them to someone on your team, or potentially if we could create like maybe for different program types or different business types, we could help work together, make some type of triage to help customers, find the next best fit. So sorry, I guess my question is, so what would be like the next best step for helping these customers if I want to refer them to one of these loan programs?
I think we should set up a call directly with you to talk through some of the logistics and see how we can work together to solve this. It sounds like there's a need and we're interested. So
yeah,
if you don't mind, we'll schedule a call in the next week or two to connect and talk more specifically about how we can work together.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I know other utility programs probably would be interested as well, like to create some type of pipeline. And I know that we are also having issues sometimes with our financing partners and customers becoming eligible or not eligible. So yeah, that would be awesome.
We have your contact from your registration, so we will reach out to you.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
One more call for questions. Any lingering?
We have two people with their hands raised.
Oh, sorry, I can't see the hands raised, so thank you.
No worries, you're welcome.
Marty from EV Zoom, now I see you.
Marty, can you hear me?
Looks like you're still on mute.
You got me, take me
There,
on mute.
there
you
we
go.
go.
Okay, hello, everyone. I'm wondering if it would be possible for you to share Alexander's information. He just spoke a minute ago, and we may be interested in speaking with him.
How about if we will set up the call with him, and when we do
Great.
that, we'll ask him if he's okay with us sharing it with you, and then if so, we'll make a connection.
That would be fine. Thank you. Appreciate it. And thank you for a great session.
Thanks for joining. I can't see the hand, so was there one more?
It looks like they put their hand down, the second
Okay.
person.
There's a Q&A question from Tiffany Lewis.
Okay, we've got another interested party for utilities. Great, thanks, Tiffany. Well, thank you again to everyone that signed up and came to participate in this session. It was our inaugural office hours. Our intent is to do this again in the future. It's not going to be monthly, but I think we're going to try to maybe do this every quarter or at least 2 to 3 times a year. So stay tuned. We'll have another session probably after Zip and Zev go live in the fall. And want to thank again the team for being here today to answer your questions and talk through the programs, but also for doing the hard work of building good products and good programs that help New Jersey businesses and helping us spread the word. So thank you again.